Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ZP vlog and podcast. We do this every Sunday at 8 a.m. UK time, and it's just really a look back at the news from Zimmer Peacock for this week. So if I sort of essentially just jump straight into it, one of the sort of pieces of news that we put out there this week was really regarding Julie. So Julie, we have talked about this in our ZP Development Zone webinars, and we've talked about it, even this Thursday in our webinar. But I just really want to sort of, highlight it and summarize it and say that, Julie, we've historically built Julie to be a online database for the sort of storage and sort of saving of data for electrochemical experiments. And I just want to say Happy New Year to all our listeners today, especially Aftab, who's just come online. And Aftab has just said to me online in the YouTube chat, this is our first webinar or vlog of 2022. You're right. So we jumped straight into it. We actually missed the point that, yes, you're completely right. This is our first webinar for 2022. And I think it's fair to say we've been unfailing in these webinars for well over a year now. So thank you, Aftab. So some of the news we put out there this week was really about Julie. And in Julie, we have always focused on, really the single user, that the single user kind of upload their data, the single user can analyze their data, and then there's a feature where the single user can share their data. And of course, we realize now, as you do, when you're doing sort of nimble product development, in some ways the product develops upon you. So we're kind of realizing that the real power of Julie is not the features that help the individual user, it's the features that really help the overall R&D effort. So it's a bit of a long list, but Julie enforces an experimental structure into your programs. So what I mean by that is, so many programs of scientific nature, people are kind of left to their own devices in some ways to kind of report their data. Or maybe they have a historical electronic lab notebook, which is paper based, which is not very scalable, not very shareable, not very backupable, let's say. So Julie does allow the structuring of data into the program. It does ensure that the experimental results are consistent. If you have Julie, then there's a template, you fill in your results, so the end user, be it a patent attorney, be it your quality engineers, be it your principal investigator, they get a consistent experience. The important thing about Julie, which is an important thing about a lot of online databases, is they're actually searchable. There's nothing worse than flicking through old lab notebooks looking for an experiment where you can just type in some keywords and it will give you a short list of experiments relevant to that keyword. So the searchable nature is really important. This is something that Aftab mentioned in our webinar on Thursday, which is it allows real time visualization of experimental progress. That is important. That if you're a principal investigator up in your office and somebody's working in the lab or working remotely, then it's nice to be able to see real time progress. It also centralizes the storage of your experimental efforts. That you can have several labs or several experimentalists doing their work, and where all your data is. It's essentially in Julie. It also ensures the custodianship of experimental data. Who owns that data? Where is that data? And so, if you have a policy that all your data is going to Julie, then you can essentially own that data, which is really important, especially if you want to make a business from this. Julie is cloud-based, so it allows experimental teams that are geographically dispersed to work together. It also allows external collaborators to directly feed data into your efforts. So it allows that. It prevents the loss of experimental data through unstructured folder systems. I think what happens a lot of time is people are using cloud systems to save their data, to hold their data, but in fact they're not backed up in any meaningful way. And also Julie's scalable. Every time you get a new user in the lab or a new experimentalist, they can just quickly sign up for Julie. You can then invite them to your cluster, and essentially off you go together. So we have talked about this a few times this week, but I just wanted to kind of go through it specifically in the vlog this week. Now, some other news from Zimmer and Peacock this week. We did put some news out that in 2022 we do have a lot of interns. It's kind of interesting actually. When I look at our intern list, I realize that we don't have any internship programs at the moment running with, for example, Indian universities, but we are definitely for it. But we are recruiting from the University of Birmingham Chemistry Department for 2022, and we're also recruiting from the Imperial College London for 2022 as well. So if you're at either of those universities or know people at those universities, then we are recruiting, let's say, from those universities as well. Now, sort of the final bit of news from Zimmer and Peacock this week really is ZP investing and angel investing. So Zimmer and Peacock, we do actually invest in some clients and some businesses. So if I look at us, ZP has invested in our longest running clients. So we do formally hold shares in some of our clients. We have helped over 5 entrepreneurs launch their dream companies. So if you look at Zimmer and Peacock, we have formally become directors of startup companies, but we've also been very supportive of entrepreneurs in general who are kind of aligned with us in terms of biosensing, and help launch those businesses. So that's in some ways a form of investment as well. What we've done is in terms of investment, we have actually taken over struggling companies in terms of bought the assets and taken on the staff. So that's also been an investment. The fourth type of investment that Zimmer and Peacock has made over the years is also, for example, we've licensed multiple technologies from the University of Oxford. Essentially, they have lab experiments, and we converted those into products. And we've also formed multiple joint ventures with a range of our actual clients as part of their go-to-market strategy. So we have invested in clients, but we've also formed daughter companies with clients as well. So I mention all of this because ZP is an unusual company that, we are fairly large, we are profitable, and because we don't have any investors ourselves, we're able to take all the profits and essentially invest it back into clients and startups. And also people like myself, we have the luxury of time that we can give it to help other companies, in their journey. Now, the features that make, an investment from Zimmer and Peacock kind of more interesting, let's say, is we want to be able to add real value to the business. So, for example, if Zimmer and Peacock was to invest in a supermarket, we can't add so much value there. So that's not such an interesting, investment to us. So we want our value to be more than just, the financial. So if we can help in a development effort, in a manufacturing effort, when you look at our technology stack, we have Julie, for example, which is a cloud database. If our sales and marketing is also part of our value add, do you have a product that we can, or a service that we can exploit through our sales and marketing? And then we're also, of course, interested in new markets for our core competencies, so water treatment, etc. So there has to be a good fit between us and you in order for us to invest, and probably that fit needs to be more than just financial. There has to be some compelling reasons to it. Also, ZP is looking to be part of the supply chain. So every business has a supply chain. So in our example, we would like, if somebody was building a biosensor and they were looking for potentially investment, then Zimmer and Peacock supplying the screen printed electrodes, that would be something that would make us interested in the long term. If we are going to invest, then we're going to want to assign directors to your board to help guide the growth of your business. So, we have to know that that's going to be one of our requirements. Now, we are able to invest through people, technology, and financial. But if we're making a financial investment, we want to be able to see that the entrepreneur is also able to attract other sources of funding. That could be other investors, it could be grants, but we want to see somebody who knows how to go out there and raise capital, and not just from us as well. So if I wanted to summarize the news from Zimmer & Peacock this week, as Aftab says, it's actually the first vlog from ZP for 2022, so Happy New Year to everyone. You see from that this week we've been putting a lot of thought really into Julie, and really putting a lot of thought into Julie as a social, let's say, product in terms of sharing and collaborating, rather than just the business of helping a scientist in the lab. And then we've also put this page up, about our investing and angel investing opportunities with Zimmer & Peacock, and we do have a history of it. We are just looking for people who are interested in us being value investors and not just financial investors. And there is for us a long-term interest, which is how to be part of the long-term supply chain of that new business. So what I want to do is I want to thank Aftab for coming this morning, and some of you who follow us later on the YouTube or the podcast, thank you very much. And otherwise, we do the ZP Developer Zone on Thursday. There will be one this Thursday at 8 a.m. London time. Feel free to follow that live, and I will speak to you all very soon. But thank you very much, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.